Well, it is a great Saturday for college baseball in Statesboro, so let's play two. Rain in the forecast tomorrow, so we're all set for a doubleheader today. Games 2 and 3 of this classic in-state rivalry for Georgia Southern and number 13, Georgia. All right, last night, a surprisingly tight game. Eagles starter Seth Schumann struck out 11, but the Eagles stranded 6 runners, and UGA held on to win 3-1. Good to see you. He's Holden Gladys. I'm Greg Talbott. So glad you're with us, and we are going to have some fun today. Well, if you look back at the history of this rivalry series, it seems like Georgia Southern always wins one game, Holden, so can they do it today?
I think they can. You look at
Georgia Southern down 4-2 to the Georgia Bulldogs. As we go to the bottom of the ninth, Greg Talbott and Holden Gladys with you. And although Georgia Southern did put a couple runners on base in the 8th inning, this one almost seems inevitable for the Georgia Bulldogs, Holden, because so far, Georgia Southern has stranded 13 runners in the first 8 innings. Talley cracks one to right. Searcy on the run. He's not going to get there. And it's going to be a stand-up RBI double for LJ Talley. And the Bulldogs jump ahead 4-1. They keep throwing low, hoping for a double play. Great spear by Evans. And he got him at first base. Wow. Can they do it to the Bulldogs in the top of the 6th? Yes, sir. Cole Whitney gets out of the inning and strikes out C.J. Smith with the bases loaded. Oh, that one might get over the Blue Monster. LJ Talley with a moonshot, and there it goes. The former Savannah Banana continues his hot streak. He had 3 hits in game 1 of this doubleheader, and he goes yard in game 2. And Hayden Harris is 1 strike away from upsetting the number 13 team in the country. High pop, foul ground, Anderson and Swan converging. Georgia Southern knocks off number 13 Georgia, and for the 4th straight year, they take a game in the series from their rivals. Well, Rodney Hennon entering his 20th season as the Georgia Southern head coach has to be pretty happy with what he has seen so far out of his starting pitcher, Seth Schumann. Sent down West Virginia in order, first 2 innings, and that means it's the bottom 3rd of the order. Coming up for the Mountaineers, we will see T.J. Lake, Tevin Tucker, and Brandon White, 7, 8, 9, and I'll tell you, Seth has looked really good so far, Holden.
And I was going to say, as you're talking about Rodney Hennon assessing him maybe after the Auburn game, I'm sure there was not much thought of, do I want to go with him as my starter? I believe there's no doubt in my mind that Rodney Hennon knew Schumann's going to be their Friday starter all season long, and this is what we can expect more of from this young pitcher who has MLB potential as well.
Not only does he already have MLB potential, he was already thought to have it coming out of high school. He was taken out of high school in Valdosta, Georgia by the Orioles in the 39th round, but wanted the college experience instead. As he delivers that one to T.J. Lake, and it's a ball to start the inning.
You know, one thing we see a lot in today's baseball where guys are, really looked at for velocity, it's rare that we see a guy like Schumann or any young pitcher trying to play in the MLB that's really known for their location. And that's because, you can develop velocity really easily. That's just a matter of getting bigger and stronger and, fixing some mechanics. Location and, being able to, like you said, pitch selection is what's harder to choose, and he's already got that.
Ground over to second base. Curry dives and can't get there. Took him 2 innings, but T.J. Lake is the first to deliver a hit and reach base for West Virginia. Singles to bring up the shortstop, Tevin Tucker.
Schumann also said a pitcher that's not going to blow you away, forces a lot of contact, so Georgia Southern does get a lot of double plays off of him, so expect him to stay low in the zone here on Tucker.
Throw down to first base after the fake bunt. Tag applied by Swan, and he just got back. Matt Anderson, we talked about him when he was batting. It's his arm and his defense. That's the reason he's behind the plate.
Took the words right out of mouth, as if on cue. Must be listening to us up here, Greg, and he wanted to show off that cannon, almost got him back out at first.
But a guy like Anderson who's throwing out base stealers on a team like Auburn, you might want to think twice. Shows bunt again. That one's in there for a strike, though. And it says a lot about how much the coaching staff likes Tevin Tucker Holden, that they made him their starting shortstop in the Big 12 as a true freshman. But, you know, what's not to like? He was the 7th best high school prospect in Virginia coming out of high school.
George Southern very familiar with that, and Austin Thompson coming in, taking over the shortstop role. But it says a lot about how ready he was.
Questionable call there. That's now 2 balls and a strike. Say Tucker pulled back just in time. Still a big lead from Lake. Square bunt right back to the mound. Schumann takes the easy way out. Throw to first in time, and Lake up to second base. That'll bring up the bottom of the order. Center fielder Brandon White. And if he gets on base, that is a guy you need to be careful of. He's top 10 in West Virginia history in steals. So you'd like to surrender him for more reasons than one.
Head coach Randy Mazey also acknowledging that with Schumann on the mound, runs might be at a premium, so they're going to try and get any run they over. That's probably why we saw a little fundamental small ball bunting the runner over.
And I would say that's not necessarily surprising, especially if you think that, hey, you know, West Virginia is 6-16 all time against Georgia Southern. In case you're joining us, that's an amazing statistic, but runs are at a premium, and you would like to beat Southern in a series for the first time in history. They've never beat the Eagles in best of 3. High sky, middle of the infield. Anderson calling for it behind the plate, and that's 2 away. Lake will stay at second base.
Like I said, that's a huge out there, retiring White with Dones coming back up. Rather have 2 outs runner on second than having a lot of speed on the base with the top 2 lineup coming up. It's a great pitch by Schumann.
Well, even though he struck out swinging to begin this game, you got to be careful of Tyler Dones. Started off the season hot last weekend at the Atlanta Invite. The first 3 games they played against Kennesaw, Georgia Tech, and Georgia State. Went 4 for 12 in those games. Breaking ball, a little high. Perfect placement by Seth, and he's really taken his time. That's the one thing you love, well, one of the many things you love to watch about Seth Schumann Holden is that he always tends to work at the same speed. He's a slow and steady guy. If there's nobody on base and it's a no-hitter, if it's the bottom of the 9th inning, he's always just going to go slow and steady, wins the race.
That's one thing he does. He likes to set the tone. He likes to really take command of the game. And if he goes at that pace, you know, it really does throw batters off. Some batters like to try and get in the box and see the next pitch quickly, but he really wants to find his own rhythm. And if he's in that rhythm, he's hard to hit. That's been exemplified here early on throughout this game.
It's one of those pitchers who doesn't matter who he's facing. If it's Georgia or Auburn or Georgia State or a junior college, he's going to take his time. But he's behind 3-1 here to Dones.
Pretty quick slide step out of the stretch as well. Does not take a whole lot of time to get to the plate.
Do you prefer to see him pitch out of the stretch or from the windup?
I've always preferred to see him out of the windup. That's where I've seen he's got a better control coming out of the windup. But like I said, out of the stretch, he's not bad at all because he's got that quick step, so it's not really conducive to runners getting a good jump on pitch.
And there for a strike, count goes full with 2 outs. And based on what you know about Seth Schumann, no surprise he might be a little bit better throwing out of the windup. doesn't let a whole lot of guys on base.
Said if some nights where he really is feeling good with the strikeouts, feeling his off-speed pitch, but a lot of time he's the guy that trusts his defense and pitches to contact and trusts his defense to make good plays.
So West Virginia with the first real chance tonight of either team to get a run across. Full count, 2 outs, and the left fielder with some speed, TJ Lake, out on second base. And he walked them. So now 2 fast guys on base on first and second here for West Virginia. Got the left fielder and second baseman. If Darius Hill puts this one in play, that might spell trouble for the Eagles.
I said this is not the guy that you want in this situation. Hill's a good hitter no matter how many outs there are. I just talk about all the records he's going to collect, and in terms of West Virginia history when he's done, this is not the guy you want to see in this situation.
Yeah, not just the numbers he's put up his first 3 years at this school, just the numbers he's had so far this year. He hit about 400 on opening weekend. And I'm surprised he took that one for a strike. 5 hits in 13 at-bats over in Atlanta. Doubled twice, and tripled once. Not a great game, though, against Canisius on Tuesday. And Seth baits him again. It's 0-2.
There we see that location coming in from Seth Schumann really well, placing that first curveball really well on the inside half of the plate. Like you said, surprised he hasn't swung at a pitch here yet.
Really nice dig out of the dirt there by Anderson. That could have turned ugly. And Seth would like to get out of the inning for a couple of reasons, but the biggest of which is that Hill's the 2-hitter. If he gets on base here and loads the bases, facing the heart of the order, started off with Marcus Inman, who took Georgia Tech yard last weekend. Big power hitter waiting on deck. That one shot down the line into left, curving foul towards the bullpen, and we'll do it again. You know what's so funny about watching Seth pitch, Holden, is that so often, there are a lot of pitchers who are first ball, fastball pitchers. They feel most confident with their pitches early in the at-bat where they can just kind of let it fly. I swear, when I watch Seth pitch, I think sometimes he prefers pitching where he's really got to place it, where it's a game with 2 guys on base.
And that really applies to his strengths, so it's really not crazy to think that that's how it goes.
Liner over to third, over the head of Evans, rolling toward McCorder, around third base. Here comes Lake. The relay throw will not come. And West Virginia's on the board here in the top of the 3rd inning. It looked like McCorder might have bobbled that ball in left, or he just didn't throw it in.
Yeah, no, he did. He definitely dropped it here in left field with Lake charging around second. He possibly had a play at the plate opportunity here, but like you said, bobbled it, and that allowed the first run of the game. And once again, West Virginia possibility to strike here with their real power hitter up to the plate now.
All right, here comes the heart of the order. Marcus Inman takes the first one and fists it foul. Came up not long ago. Ended the first inning by grounding out to third base. And now he's got 2 guys on and a chance to do some damage. Way behind the fastball from Seth, and he's 0-2. But when you feed him up in the zone like that, it's dangerous. Already homered twice this year against Canisius on Tuesday and last Saturday against Georgia Tech. If you leave one of the letters, there's a good chance he's going to drive it.
Expect Schumann to throw something out of zone here, probably low. Starting to break a ball right around his knees.
Exactly the opposite of his tendency. Seth jams him high inside and surprises Inman, but he does give up a run.